An extract about seeing versus believing from chapter 1 of What the Buddha Taught, written by Venerable Walpola Rahula. Almost all religions are built on faith, rather blind faith it would seem. But in Buddhism, emphasis is laid on seeing, knowing, understanding, and not on faith or belief. In Buddhist texts, there is a word saddha or shraddha, which is usually translated as faith or belief. But shraddha is not faith as such, but rather confidence born out of conviction. In popular Buddhism and also in ordinary usage in the texts, the word shraddha, it must be admitted, has an element of faith in the sense that it signifies devotion to the Buddha, the Dhamma, teaching, and the Sangha, the order. According to Asanga, the great Buddhist philosopher of the 4th century AC, Shraddha has 3 aspects. 1. Full and firm conviction that a thing is. 2. Serene joy at good qualities. And 3. Aspiration or wish to achieve an object in view. However you put it, faith or belief, as understood by most religions, has little to do with Buddhism. The question of belief arises when there is no seeing, seeing in every sense of the word. The moment you see, the question of belief disappears. If I tell you that I have a gem hidden in the folded palm of my hand, the question of belief arises because you do not see it yourself. But if I unclench my fist and show you the gem, then you see it for yourself, and the question of belief does not arise. So the phrase in ancient Buddhist texts reads, realizing as one sees a gem or a myrobalan fruit in the palm. A disciple of the Buddha named Musila tells another monk, Friend Savita, without devotion, faith or belief, without liking or inclination, without hearsay or tradition, without considering apparent reasons, without delight in the speculations of opinions, I know and see that the cessation of becoming is nirvana. And the Buddha says, O bhikkhus, I say that the destruction of defilement and impurities is meant for a person who knows and who sees, and not for a person who does not know and does not see. It is always a question of knowing and seeing, and not that of believing. The teaching of the Buddha is qualified as ehipassika, inviting you to come and see, but not to come and believe. The expressions used everywhere in Buddhist texts referring to persons who realized truth are the dustless and stainless eye of truth, Dhammachakku, has arisen. He has seen truth, has attained truth, has known truth, has penetrated into truth, has crossed over doubt, is without wavering. Thus, with right wisdom, he sees it as it is, yatha bhutam. With reference to his own enlightenment, the Buddha said, the I was born, knowledge was born, wisdom was born, science was born, light was born. It is always seeing through knowledge or wisdom, jnana dassana, and not believing through faith. This was more and more appreciated at a time when Brahmanic orthodoxy intolerantly insisted on believing and accepting their tradition and authority as the only truth without question. Once a group of learned and well known Brahmins went to see the Buddha and had a long discussion with him. One of the group, a Brahmin youth of 16 years of age named Karpatika, considered by them all to be an exceptionally brilliant mind, put a question to the Buddha. Venerable Gautama, there are the ancient holy scriptures of the Brahmins handed down along the line by unbroken oral tradition of texts. With regard to them, Brahmins come to the absolute conclusion: this alone is truth, and everything else is false. Now, what does the Venerable Gautama say about this? The Buddha inquired, among Brahmins, is there any one single Brahmin who claims that he personally knows and sees that this alone is truth and everything else is false? The young man was frank and said, no. Then, is there any one single teacher or a teacher of teachers of Brahmins back to the seventh generation, or even any one of those original authors of those scriptures who claims that he knows and he sees this alone is truth and everything else is false? No. Then it is like a line of blind men, each holding on to the preceding one. The first one does not see, the middle one also does not see, the last one also does not see. Thus it seems to me that the state of the Brahmins is like that of a line of blind men. Then the Buddha gave advice of extreme importance to the group of Brahmins. It is not proper for a wise man who maintains truth to come to the conclusion this alone is truth and everything else is false. Asked by the young Brahmin to explain the idea of maintaining or protecting truth, the Buddha said, a man has a faith. If he says, this is my faith, so far he maintains truth. But by that he cannot proceed to the absolute conclusion, this alone is truth and everything else is false. In other words, a man may believe what he likes, and he may say, I believe this. So far he respects truth. But because of his belief or faith, he should not say that what he believes is alone the truth and everything else is false. The Buddha says, to be attached to one thing, to a certain view, and to look down upon other things' views as inferior, this the wise men call a fetter.